Yeah, well, there's been a lot of proceedings that happened today. As you can hear behind me, the Mandela Washington Fellows just got out of another session. But throughout the whole morning, there's been a lot of action going on, networking continuing between U.S. authorities and, of course, the Mandela Washington Fellows. Today, we got to see a couple of high-level officials, among them Samantha Powell from USAID and Molly P., who is the Assistant Deputy Secretary under the State Department.
And what was the focus of the discussion today?
Well, several things were touched on today. However, it seemed one point was highlighted throughout the whole discussion, and that is the saying that seems to be coming up every year with Yali. African youth have the answer to Africa's problems. One of the points that were highlighted today is the discussions that were tackled is the discussion around food insecurity. Now, both Samantha Powell and Molly P. were questioning how Africa is facing food insecurity while highlighting the fact that African youth have the adequate tools to tackle that problem.
And Mike, if you can share with us, what did the U.S. authorities there talk about? Any of the programs, did they address the programs of strengthening, encouraging, and empowering the youth of Africa that are in the Mandela Fellowship?
Right. That was one of the things that they highlighted, is that Washington is determined to strengthen its ties with African youth, which is the whole point of the Young African Leaders Initiative or the Mandela Washington Fellowship. Now, one thing they did highlight is how U.S. authorities or how the Mandela Washington Fellowship is strengthening its ties with African youth through investment, through mentorship, through skills provision. They talked about the grants and the investment opportunities and, of course, the loans that State Department has specifically for African youth.
Mike, we still have one more day to go. What are we looking forward to tomorrow?
Now, one thing that everybody's looking forward to is, of course, a Wednesday's closing session. That is where you're going to witness Secretary of State Antony Blinken. He's going to be addressing the Mandela Washington Fellows. Now, unfortunately, the three-day summit wraps up tomorrow. However, young African leaders will get to speak to Secretary of State Antony Blinken. They'll get to, of course, highlight more of the initiatives that the fellowship has. And, of course, that's where they're going to be unveiling who and who did not get any grants, who and who will be leaving Washington with some money.
Well, good luck to all of them. We'll see who gets a lot of money and what they're going to take back to the continent. Mike, thank you very much for your reporting. VOA's Mike Hove reporting live for us from the Yali Summit in Washington.